right, welcome to our 6th grade concert. This is more of a showcase. There's a lot of school districts that don't actually have a 6th grade band concert. Basically this is going to be a glimpse into what we do in our classroom. So there's a lot of veteran band parents out there who's been there, done that with band. So you kind of know the drill with this. I'm sorry we got rid of the parent concert. I know that's really saddening to you. But then there's also a lot of parents that maybe just invested in the instrument, handed it to their student and said, man, I hope you can go learn how to play this. And so what we want to do is kind of use this concert to show you what it is that they're doing on a daily basis in here. And we didn't really prepare for this concert. We took everything that we're doing in the classroom and put it on stage for you. So I call it sort of a showcase rather than a concert. But they're all dressed up. They look really nice. You guys look sharp. I told you you would. And we've got some great festive music for you, and we've got some classroom demonstrations for you. So you're going to hear me on the microphone. You're going to hear Mr. Daly on the microphone a little bit tonight. When you come back in the spring, not so much. It's going to be like full-on music. So if you could take this time right now to turn off your cell phones if you have them, and put them to vibrate. And then also, if you need to get up and leave at any time, if you could try to do that during, our songs are pretty short, so if you can do that in between songs, that helps because it doesn't create motion when they're trying to perform. We are going to start this concert with what I call a beginning band mashup. We're going to play 5 songs for you. I'm going to put a break in between so you can hold your applause to the end. You're going to hear, let's see, you're going to hear Rain, Rain, Go Away. You're going to hear Hot Cross Buns, an old standard. You're going to hear Go Tell Aunt Rhody. You're going to hear Merrily We'll Roll Along and Itsy Bitsy Spider. So this is our beginning band mashup. Alright, the next song we're going to do is Good King Wenceslas, and what we're going to do is we're going to show you what a soli is in music. So everybody knows what a solo is, it's when one person performs, but you can actually have a group of people perform and they call that a soli with an I on it. So we're going to feature the flutes, the clarinets in this order, the flute soli, a clarinet soli, a trumpet soli, and a trombone soli, and you'll also hear the percussion playing the entire time. So this is Good King Wenceslas as a soli version. At this time, I have the pleasure to introduce Mr. Jaley to the stage. Mr. Jaley and I team teach every single class, and so they have the luxury, I guess, or sometimes maybe not the luxury, of having two teachers in the classroom. Getting these guys rolling on beginning band instruments is definitely takes two of us at all times to keep the momentum moving of the class. So I'm going to bring Mr. Jaley to the stage, and we're going to do our classroom demonstrations next. This time, if you look in your program, you'll see the line of music that we're going to do our classroom demonstrations on. So yeah, please help me welcome Mr. Jaley to the stage. The very first group that we're going to have demonstrating is the percussion group. When we first learn a piece of music, we can't do anything without knowing what the rhythm is. They're going to demonstrate what we do, which is called clapping and counting, to learn the rhythm. Percussion also has the added bonus of learning two instruments. For every single line that they learn, they have to learn two different instruments. So in order to learn the rhythms that we have to learn on snare, we do a vocalization. So they're going to dut/buzz/vocalize their line for this line. So we're going to have half of them play mallets and half of them play snare pads, so you can see what it sounds like when we put those two things together on their instruments. How about a hand for the percussion? Using the same line, the very next thing that we teach is actually proper posture. It's how to sit correctly. We can't play our instruments correctly, and we can't play them standing as a percussionist if we don't sit correctly. So we're going to have our next group, which is the trombones, demonstrate what this line would sound like if we let them sit with any posture that they want. Is sitting with your back straight, both feet flat on the floor, your arms away from your body, your head up so that you can see music. So now they're going to play the same song, and their tone should improve drastically. For the trombone. After we teach those things, rhythm and posture, before we even put any sound into the instrument, we teach something called embouchure. We actually spend a lot of time not playing notes and just playing the smaller parts like mouthpiece or head joints to learn the proper embouchure. Just like with anything, band takes muscles, and so the muscles in their face have to develop properly, and we call that embouchure. So if we were to take the same line and we were to let them just blow into their instrument without any understanding of embouchure, this is what number 29 out of their book would sound like. On their mouthpiece and barrel, we talk to them about making the corners firm, making sure that their bottom lip is curled over their teeth so it's not touching your reed. We do the same thing with all the instruments. Every single instrument has their own idiosyncrasies, and we spend a lot of time developing those things. So when they put that all together with the proper embouchure, and they have the correct posture, and they've learned the correct rhythm, this is what it sounds like played properly. One of the more difficult things about band is actually learning to read music. These students have to learn the pitches that they're playing. And one of the techniques we use in order to do that is something called say and finger or say and slide, depending on what instrument they are. So the trumpets are going to say and finger, which means they're going to put down the proper vowel combinations while they say the letter names of the instrument, of the notes that they're playing. Now they're going to demonstrate what it sounds like when they play it. How about a hand for the trumpet?
Yeah.
Students that as they really improve at something and they start to master something, we like to make it harder for them. So as they learned all of those things that you already saw, then we added some new things, some more advanced musical concepts. So flutes are going to demonstrate, if you looked at in your program, you'll see these little lines over top of all their notes. Those are called slurs. And it's actually telling them when to stop and start the note with their tongue. So they're going to demonstrate what it sounds like without those slurs in and then with their slurs in. And this is what it sounds like when they slur it. You should hear a difference in there. It's all smooth and connected. And how about I hear for the flute? things for one line. We put it together as a band, and this is what it sounds like as a band.
Okay, about this time of year we start to teach the students how to play what we call harmony music, which means that there's more than one part going on at the same time. Up until maybe a week or two ago, everything is pretty unison, it sounds the same, which makes it easier for them to begin on their instruments. So we're going to demonstrate a line called London Bridge, and it has two different parts. Every student's playing something different, someone next to them is playing a different line, so this really takes focus and concentration. This sets them up more for like 7th grade music. So we're going to play London Bridge for you. At this time, we're going to have each section do a really quick feature for you. It's a hard thing, like with flutes, you're not going to hear them as loud with this big band until we all learn how to control our sound. And we just know that, and we talk to them about that. But we also want to let you know what they sound like and what the flute, so we actually feature them during this time. So we're going to start with, we're going to go in high, from highest pitch to lowest pitch. We're going to start with the flutes, and they're going to play Shoe Fly for you. We're going to feature is our clarinet section, and they're going to play Baja Breeze. We have a giant stuffed frog in our room with his name Splain, and so every time we get to the song in the book, we pull the frog out. This next song is called the Frog Song, and it's going to feature the trumpets.
Foster called Can Sound Races. We actually spend a ton of time, I'm back here with the percussion, we actually spend a ton of time working on something called 8s and 8s percussion. They set up and they do it every single day without fail to different music. And so because we spend so much time on it, and then we do it in 7th grade and then 8th grade, and then they do the same type of thing in drumline in high school, we're going to demonstrate how we do that for you.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes sir, not a follower. Fit the box, fit the mold, I've seen it before ya. Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder. That may seem like a simple concept that you just saw, but they have to actually find the beat and keep a steady subdivided, with that tempo, they have to keep a nice subdivision. It's very difficult, and it's come a long way, and we will continue to do that every single day for the foreseeable future that they are percussionists at West Middle School. It's that important. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to join in a little festivities, some holiday festivities. So we have some hats and some antlers and stuff to put on. At this time, what I'm going to do is I'd like to take this moment. I sent you an email, and this is a little bit of an uncomfortable thing for me to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about money. We are not going to be sending home a fundraiser. Last year was the first year that we decided to do that. We were like, I think that parents are tired of brochures, and they, and it's just, we got great feedback from parents that said, you know what, I just would rather give you the money that goes directly to the band, and so you will not see us send home a brochure. However, as you can see on stage, and as you guys will see when you come back in the spring, when we have all of the percussion set up and you have French horns and tubas and everything else that's on stage, you're going to see that this is actually a pretty, it's got a lot of expenditures in it. So we cannot operate without supplemental funds.
And I gave you a blurb, if you want to check your email if you haven't done so yet. I gave you a blurb about why. I'm also very free to talk about what those things are budgeted for. If you feel compelled to, if you want to, you don't have to. I don't want you to feel pressured, but if you would like to see this to move forward and like to support us, we are happy to take and use that money towards these students and not send home a brochure for you to have to buy stuff. So if you would like, we have some envelopes. I have some high school students that would pass around some envelopes. I don't know where my high school students went to do that. Oh, they're right there. Awesome. So they're gonna have some envelopes, and my administration and some teachers will be happy to collect them at the door as you leave. If you put your name and address on there, we can also send you, if that's important to you, we can send you a letter for your files that states that you gave a donation to our non-for-profit band. So I'm going to move on to the next thing. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to email me. Like I said, I've already sent you an email about it, and I'm happy to talk to you about it. Quickly, I need to thank any teachers and administrators in the audience. This is something that they do in their free time, and they've heard Hot Cross Buns more than you guys have. So I'd like to really quickly recognize any teachers or staff or faculty, administration in the audience. Would you please stand up and be recognized? I know some of them get on up there in the back. Yeah. Lastly, I'm going to first thank you, parents. Thank you for giving us. We live here, Mr. Daly, and I say we have the best job in the world. We really do. We get to make music with these students every single day, and they only get better from here. When you come back in the spring, it's one of my favorite concerts because you'll be totally shocked at how much they've changed in those few months from now until the spring. So thank you for your support. I'm also going to ask, we do weekly assignments. They have some band homework. We don't put a lot on their plate. We ask for your signature on them. If you haven't signed anything all year, they may be signing it for you, or they may be not doing it or not handing it in. So we are going to continue with those. If you wouldn't mind helping get those in, that just helps us develop better. It helps them learn these skills that are very important to what we're doing. So if you could kind of keep an eye on that next semester, that'd be great. I'm going to stop talking. If you want an envelope while Mr. Daly gets these guys set, why don't you guys run, just kind of go up, grab a stack, and then go up, and then walk up, and if they want one, you can kind of hand it down the rows. Okay. And then we're going to finish up with Jingle Bells, Jolly Old St. Nick, and Up on Top.
thank you everybody for coming out tonight. We're gonna take them back to put their instruments away, and then we'll send them up your way. So thank you, have a good evening, and Merry Christmas.